What's happening, people? What's going on? Happy Saturday afternoon. I hope you're all doing well. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. Man, oh man, it's another stream and we are still yet to get the here we go for Brian Mbeumo. But David Ornstein did give us a little bit of insight into what's happening in the bid process for that. So we're going to talk about that. Some news as well from Fabrizio Romano, as well as other reporters who are reporting that Brian Mbeumo's medical is actually provisionally booked for Manchester United to happen next week. So that might suggest that they are not actually that far in their valuations between what Brentford want and what Manchester United want. It sounds like, and has been reported, that what Brentford want up front, rather than the add-ons, is what's holding the transfer back. And David Ornstein has come out and kind of reiterated the idea that Brian Mbeumo has said, I only want Manchester United. He's notified other rivals, and that deal will continue to happen. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about something new, because I've seen a report suggesting that Manchester United might be interested in Joao Felix. I mean, first it was Nkunku, and now it sounds like it might be Joao Felix. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Felix Nmecha as well, another player that Manchester United are interested in. Fenerbahce are moving away from Jadon Sancho, and that might suggest that he might not really have many other options of places to go. They are now moving away from signing Jadon Sancho, and now they are en route to sign John Duran from Al Nassr. And he only joined Al Nassr in January for nearly a second record fee for the Saudi Football League after Neymar. And it looks like he already wants out of Saudi. So we're going to talk about that as well. What else have we got to talk about? I think that's the main parts of today. Oh, we're going to talk about Rasmus Højlund as well. We're going to talk about Rasmus Højlund and Inter Milan. So we have a lot to talk about on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. I know there's not much to do today. I think there's football on at 5 with the Club World Cup and all of that stuff. But Saturdays tend to be a quiet day, just for me, when there's no football on. When there's no Premier League, no nothing, Saturdays is a chilled day. So I thought, you know what, because I didn't do a live yesterday, I said I might as well do one today as well. So make sure you guys hit the like button. If you've just come through, let me know where you lot are watching from as well. I think the biggest thing that everybody wants to just kind of move quickly as possible is the Brian Mbeumo stuff. I think the Brian Mbeumo stuff is just holding so much back. And let's actually start with that. Let's actually start with that. The Rap Haven says Mbeumo is coming. I just think it's structure of payments. Yeah, same. I think it is just structure of the payments. And it just sounds like what Brentford are acting like a club, a Premier League club would, when the big dogs come around knocking for your players. They are not budging. We saw this happen with Ivan Toney. The only difference is, I think, Ivan Toney, last season when he ended up going to Al Ahly, I don't actually think there was a lot of people interested in Ivan Toney because of the weight of the gambling ban that he had to serve just the season before that. Whereas with Brian Mbeumo, I think Brentford have realized they actually can't stop him from leaving, and they can't hold out for an outrageous fee. So for them, the best thing for them to do is just try and push the big clubs as far as possible when it comes to the financial aspect of the transfer. I think that's the most important thing. Do I agree with it? No. The only thing that I'm annoyed about is the fact that, I don't know if you lot remember, but Omar Barada was speaking to media recently. I think it was an interview he did with the United We Stand magazine. And he was basically saying that United are not afraid to walk away from transfers if they feel like clubs are trying to push them financially to a point where they don't want to exceed what they've internally agreed. And the way that it sounds like, Manchester United are going to be paying what Brentford want. And if the negotiations have taken this long, I'm pretty sure it's probably about what is the base fee and what is the add-ons, and in terms of the add-ons, what is achievable add-ons. Because let's be honest, you know, every million counts for a club like Brentford. You know, they've lost Norgard, they've lost Ivan Toney, they're about to lose Brian Mbeumo, they've lost their manager. You know, they are essentially gonna go back, I think, to just be in a team. I don't know how they're going to play under their new manager, who's been promoted. I think he's like an assistant coach that's been promoted to the managerial role. But they need to get every million that they possibly can get in the transfer window. That is my opinion. They need to. That's probably how they are looking at this transfer. Now, let's actually start with David Ornstein yesterday. So David Ornstein, I was in the cinema and I just saw a notification come up on my phone from Twitter, and it said David Ornstein has tweeted Brian Mbeumo. I just saw that part. Brian, I thought, oh my God, finally. Then I just saw it's just him reiterating that Brian Mbeumo has notified Brentford and Tottenham of his decision that he only wants to join Manchester United. Now, the interesting part here is what he mentions in this part here. This is the interesting part, guys. He says an opening offer worth 45 million plus 10 million in add-ons fell some way short of Brentford's valuation. A second proposal of 55 million plus 7.5 of bonuses was also rejected. So he's kind of confirmed that the second bid was rejected by Brentford, which is more, of course, than what the first bid was. The first bid in the package was 55 million, right? The first bid, the package was 55 million. Now, the second bid, it starts at 55 million with bonuses that take it to a total of 62.5 million. They want close enough to what Manchester United have paid for Matheus Cunha. And I actually don't see nothing wrong with a player like Brian Mbeumo being used as a benchmark. Cunha being used as a benchmark for Brian Mbeumo's transfer. What I would have an issue with is every club suggesting that because United have bought Cunha for 60 million, that you have to buy all their players for 60 million plus. This is an inflated transfer market. The transfer window has never been the way that it is in the recent years. It is so inflated that sometimes I actually feel like transfer fees mean nothing, because I'm seeing 65 million being rejected for Gittins at Dortmund. You know, I'm seeing Manchester United putting a 70 million fee for Garnacho. I'm seeing players going for blasphemous price tags, and that's why I feel like we're going to get to a point in football where transfer fees mean nothing. Did we pay 62.5 for Cunha? We played, yeah, I think it's 62.5, just slightly more, but that's because of the fact that Man United want to pay it across 3 years rather than pay it all up front because he had a release clause. So they are using Cunha as a benchmark for what Mbeumo is. And I see nothing wrong with that, because I actually think they are on par in terms of the type of players that they are and in terms of the valuation that they have. Probably the only difference is that Matheus Cunha signed a new contract last year with Wolves with his release clause included. Whereas what's it called? Brian Mbeumo has a 1 year plus one left on his deal. The only thing Brentford could do is turn around and say, you know what, we're triggering his 1 year extension. That way, you guys will have to pay the 60 million. You will have to pay it. Now, 62.5 million, in my opinion, is reasonable. Now, whether I think this is just my prediction, guys. My prediction is just that Brentford maybe want more upfront rather than the add-ons. 55 million up front for Brian Mbeumo is not, in my opinion, it's not really bad business. So let's start with the facts of what we know. We know that Manchester United reportedly, now according to Sully, Manchester United have an agreement on the base fee, and the problem is the add-ons. Now, Fabrizio Romano has reported that Brentford has consistently mentioned to Manchester United the price tag of other players in the transfer market, which is why they want more than what Manchester United have offered in their second bid. He then goes on to say that his understanding is not that Brentford rejected the bid and the talks have stopped, but that the conversations are continuing. The two clubs remain in talks and are trying to find a solution. United are calm, confident, and optimistic as the player has given priority to Manchester United. Manchester United also remain in active talks with Brentford to reach an agreement on the transfer fee. In the next couple of days, the conversation will continue. It's then been reported by Sky, it's been confirmed by Sky actually, that the second bid for Brian Mbeumo was rejected. And Manchester United reportedly have they are confident in signing Brian Mbeumo because of the player's desire to join the club. Now, TalkSport are the outlet, reporting that Brian Mbeumo's medical has been provisionally booked for next week as Manchester United and Brentford continue negotiations. Just get the deal done. Honestly, guys, I'm just like, yo, if it will actually be a slap in the face for Omar Barada if Manchester United end up paying Brentford exactly what it is they want. Now, 55 million as a base fee and 7.5 in add-ons. They probably want about 60 million base fee. That is my prediction. It's not me saying that is fact. That is just my prediction, that they want a 60 million base fee And then they probably want a couple of million in achievable add-ons, because that is more in line with what Manchester United have paid for Matheus Cunha. If Man United end up doing that and they end up paying Brentford exactly what it is that they want, okay, that's good for Manchester United, but also that is a slap in the face to Omar Barada, Wilcox, whoever else is involved in this negotiation thing. And the reason why I'm saying that it's a slap in their face is because there's been so many times that they have publicly said Man United will not succumb to the wishes of clubs when it comes to negotiations for transfers in terms of the fee. So if all along that has been your mindset, is it the fact that maybe Man United don't have any backup options to signing Mbeumo? I know that, you know, Eze has been mentioned and Mohamed Kudus has been mentioned as well, but those are players that are not similar to the ilk of Bryan Mbeumo. Is it the fact that maybe, you know, Ruben Amorim is pushing hard to get Bryan Mbeumo? Because if Man United just end up paying what Brentford wanted, and maybe it's the finer details that we won't be privy to knowing, especially, like I said, what the add-ons are, how achievable they are. Those are things that we never really know about, right? If they end up doing all of that, I need Omar Barada to come and sit and explain to us what the hell, because you've just wasted a whole month of Manchester United's transfer window. You've wasted a whole month just to end up paying the price. Do you know what this reminds me of, guys? I don't know if you lot remember. It reminds me of the Anthony thing, yeah? And I'm not saying it's the same, because it's completely different structures at Manchester United that are currently running the transfer window, right? But I remember Man United valuing him at 25 million, and because they were so desperate, apparently Ajax asked for 100 million and they said, okay, cool, we'll just pay it. If you're going to pay the price without, I don't know, for me, you can't publicly say that you're not going to overpay for players and you're not going to allow clubs to hold you hostage financially if you end up just paying. Now, the only concern I have is that coming into Monday, so on Monday, we are exactly 1 week away from players reporting for pre-season. And then there's another 2 weeks on top of that before Manchester United go and start their pre-season tour. It's a huge likelihood Bryan Mbeumo might not be there for Manchester United at pre-season or the beginning of pre-season. He might report to pre-season late, which means he might report to the tour late. It might mean that Ruben Amorim will have only one new player in. And don't give me this whole academy players that United have brought in, Diogo Leon, etc. Don't give me that as Manchester United having a new transfer signing this summer. Man United are possibly going into the summer transfer window with only one new player for pre-season. And it reflects bad on everyone involved. Honestly, to me, it reflects bad. Even if Man United had Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, I still think that reflects slightly bad. And the main reason I feel that is because Manchester United have just had the worst season in their history. That should be a lesson to you. That should be a wake-up call. You should go into the summer transfer window ready to do what you have to do to get at least 3-4 players in before preseason starts. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Mona says overpriced player. I don't think Bryan Mbeumo is overpriced, but like I was saying at the beginning, guys, I feel like we're at a time now where transfer fees are beyond inflated. I don't know if you guys remember, Cristiano Ronaldo went for 80 million when we sold him to Real Madrid. Yeah, at that time that was like, wow, everybody was saying, I remember at the time, who's going to be the first 100 million signing. Now 100 million is a norm. Paying 100 million for I feel like every summer transfer window we will see at least one or two 100 million signings. Like if we look back at previous windows, there have been players for other clubs who have, you know, signed for 100 million. I think Florian Wirtz is the first one of this summer. I don't think he's going to be the last. I definitely think there'll be another 100 million signing at some point during the summer transfer window. Transfer fees have just become so overly inflated. Sometimes I don't even think the valuation is actually worth what is actually being said in terms of. That's why I don't really bat an eyelid. And I know it's sad to say, but I don't really bat an eyelid at players, because I feel like now we're in a norm where players cost 50 to 60, 70 million. Like that's, if I'm seeing Semenyo being priced at 70 million, Bryan Mbeumo for 65 million ain't that bad. Because there is no way on God's green earth that Semenyo is worth 70 million. The problem is that back in the day, I feel like, you know, when we sold Ronaldo to Cristiano to Real Madrid, and just in that time, I feel like clubs used to go off of what you are right now, right? The player that you are right now is what we're paying for. Now, I feel like clubs are too busy valuing their players based on their potential. And that is what's also causing a hindrance to the transfer window, because you're seeing young players who maybe have 1 or 2 years of experience at senior football going for 50, 60 million. So if they're going for 50, 60 million, how much are the players going to go for that have 5, 6, 7 years of top flight football, that have, you know, multiple seasons in scoring maybe double-digit goals? How much are they going to go for when the young players who are just fresh out of an academy, 1, 2 years, they got a price tag of 50 million on their head minimum? I think we're going to be at a time in the next couple of summer transfer windows where 60, 70 is going to be normal for a player. Like, and clubs are going to have to fork out 70 million multiple times in a transfer window to buy a player. The transfer fee should be based on the player's current contract. If a player's on 100k for 5 years, that's 26 million. That should be their transfer fee. What I also wonder is if football would ever implement something like a salary cap. Because in the NBA, they have a salary cap. And in order to free up space in your salaries, you have to move players. You have to do trades, etc. For example, Kyrie Irving just declined his 1 year, a contract extension, 1 year extension that he could pick up that was worth 40 something, I think it was $48 million for the year. And he's instead picked up a 2 or 3 year contract instead with the Dallas Mavericks. That the whole purpose of those salary caps is that clubs, or in basketball terms, you can't have people that are on high contracts within your team, multiple players. It's impossible. Today, Manchester United, for example, if there was a salary cap, it would be impossible for them to be paying multiple people above 250k. It would be impossible because there's a salary cap. I don't really think it should be, but I think there should be, like, when you look at the Premier League, yeah, guys, I was doing some research because I did a video about like debt in football. Check it out. It's a short. And if you don't want to see more like finance related videos to football and just Manchester United, let me know because I can make that happen. But I was looking at how, you know, the revenue difference, guys, in the Premier League and all the other leagues. It's ridiculous. The lowest that you can finish 20th, Ipswich or whoever Leicester finished 20th last year. They made more money in the Premier League than teams that won the Bundesliga would have made, or teams that would have won the Italian league. They would have made. They make more. The Premier League, in terms of broadcasting rights, yeah, because it's so big, clubs can comfortably. That is why, guys, you can see a player leave like a Spanish mid-table team and join a team in the lower side of the league because they got the money to spend in the Premier League. They have so much money to spend. Austin Reeves declined 89 million for 4 years. Austin Reeves was my guy, man. Austin Reeves was my guy. Small teams have money, hence you deep them not wanting to sell. So if you want to buy, then you need to pay extra. It's true. It's true. Before we cap the players, can we put a cap on how much the billionaire owners make? Also, can we start there? You know what? I don't even think we should put a cap on that. I think we should put a cap on owners, yeah? If they take out debt leverage against your club, whether it is to finance a new stadium, any of that, I think that it should be against their assets, not the club's assets. For example, yeah, a lot of the look at Lyon, who have just been relegated to League 2. That is so sad. That is so sad for a football club of Lyon's stature to be relegated because of financial mismanagement of their owners, right? But what they do is take out debt, right, for transfers, all of that kind of stuff. The cash flow management of the club is poor. You know, that the overhead structure and running the club is too expensive compared to what the club is making. But they are acting outside of their means. So what does the owners do? They just keep taking debt. They keep taking loans. They take high loans. They take high loans with high interest. They leverage it against, you know, their club. They leverage it against the stadium. And who gets punished at the end of the day? Not the owners, because the owners will still take dividends out at the end of it. Every quarter, you know, as long as the club is reporting a profit before tax, yeah, a profit before tax, but that's excluding interest expenses, they will still be taking dividends. Texter is a good example. Flipping the Glazers are a perfect example. They take risks they never would with their own assets. That's the thing. If you are gonna take, like I get as a private limited company or as a limited company, public or private, you are protected as a director or a stakeholder of a business. So in this term, as a football owner, because the club is a company and you're not what's the word? You're not what's the word? You're not trading as a sole trader, for example. Your risk is on your business. It's not on you. But then you're effing with people's livelihoods. You're effing with people's livelihoods. Manchester United, guys, is a prime example. The fact that Manchester United have paid more money in interest, just in interest, than they have in the entirety of the loan in which the Glazers used to buy the club is ridiculous. And that is why I don't like the Glazers. I don't like the Glazers. But the fact that they can walk away from Manchester United, once they decide to sell, and they didn't spend a penny on the club. Do you know how mental that is? Guys, how can you buy a business, not spend a penny on it, and still possibly walk away with 7 billion? That is a double win. That's a win twice. You won when you bought the club and you brought it in debt leverage. And by the way, that was so bad that football regulators had to come out and make a rule that you can't do that anymore. Because then everyone would have done it. You would have seen every businessman across the world trying to buy a football club in the Premier League and just issue the debt against that club and make them be responsible for it. The only thing is that Manchester United is sufficient in the terms of how they generate revenue. They generate a lot of revenue. They generate a lot of merchandise sales. They generate a lot of sponsorship deals. So if Manchester United, if the Glazers, if someone tried to replicate that, for example, maybe with like Brentford, it wouldn't work, because Brentford would fall into a cycle of debt and eventually probably end up getting relegated by the FA. But anyway, sorry guys, I just went on a crazy rant. Do you guys think this Bryan Mbeumo deal will get done? Do you think it'll get done in the next couple of days? Because I feel like every few days I just find myself saying, oh, maybe we'll get Here We Go. Maybe we'll get Here We Go this week. Maybe we'll get it on Wednesday. Maybe we'll get it on Friday. Maybe we'll get it on Monday. At this point, I'm only annoyed at how slow it's moving, because Man United aren't moving anywhere else. It's just like they're just solely focused on this Bryan Mbeumo deal. And it's been reported that Manchester United can buy. Excuse me. It's been reported that Bryan Mbeumo can buy. Man United can buy Bryan Mbeumo without any other sales having to facilitate the move. But once they do that, and that's why I have a strong feeling that Man United's budget for the transfer window before any sales is around 120 to 150, because Man United are then have to be keen on moving people out. Jadon Sancho, freedom. Garnacho, we got to find a club for him. Marcus Rashford is continuing to wait for that Barcelona move. Anthony is dying to go to Real Betis. Just let him take the pay cut and tell Betis to give us 35 million, and I'll laugh to the bank. I'll take that. I just don't like the fact that it's just been moving so slow and nothing else has been happening in the background. No midfielder, no move for a possible midfielder. Goalkeeper has just been talks flying around about Emi Martinez, but really that's it. And it's just, for me, underwhelming. Like, honestly, guys, it's so underwhelming. We really should have sold Bruno. I don't know where he will play next season. You know what, guys? I kind of agree with Mona in a way with this. In the fact of, let me bring up Bruno Fernandes here. Let me actually bring up Bruno Fernandes. By the way, YouTube have just done this thing, guys. Everyone's at names are coming up for me rather than your names that you had before, like your channel name, which is annoying because I just feel like it kind of ruins what I'm used to. But let's actually talk about Bruno quickly. I'm concerned about, I have a similar concern to Mona in terms of where Bruno will play, because I think he doesn't have the athletic midfielder next to him that he would need, number one. Number two, I feel like as a midfield, like, I'm very against the midfield too, guys. I feel like if you play a midfield, we should have a midfield three, which is why I wish we'd play a 3-5-2. But I don't think Ruben Amorim is going to do that. But with Bruno Fernandes, it's weird because I like Bruno as a player. And I think that he can add value to Manchester United. But I just wonder if he's playing in a midfield 2. He's always, in my opinion, been better playing in a midfield 2 when he goes into the midfield 2 later into the game. But whenever he's ever started in the midfield 2, I've been underwhelmed with his performances. And that is mainly down to the fact that I think that he needs athleticism next to him, because Bruno's not very athletic. Now, you look at the kind of midfielders that tend to play in that role. And a perfect example for me is Vitinha. Vitinha at PSG is a perfect example of someone how I see playing in that midfield should play. And in this instance, Vitinha is playing in a midfield 3. But there's that one goal that sticks out for me. I think it was the goal that I can't remember who's. I think he might have scored it, you know. I think it's the goal that he scored in the Champions League final. But it was the play in which led to that goal. How he picked up the ball from deep. He picked it up from Fabian Ruiz, who for me, underrated player, doesn't get the love that he deserves to get. He picked up the ball, offsets it to the centre-back, picks it back up, progresses the ball, comfortably dribbling, you know, because he's not the strongest, he's not the most physical, but he's very technical. And for me, there's times when technical aspects of the game outweighs the physical aspect of the game. I don't think Bruno can replicate that. And if he doesn't have that box-to-box engine with him in the midfield, Bruno Fernandes, for me, is not a deep-lying playmaker, if you want to call it that. He can play good passes. And he can find the right pass. But to me, I wouldn't class Bruno as a deep-lying playmaker. In Amorim's system, I actually think the deep-lying playmakers are your wide centre-backs. I don't agree with it, by the way, because I think there's no way in this world you should have a midfielder who is not comfortable dictating the game from deep, right? Think of all the kind of deep-lying playmakers we've seen in football in the last 20 years, yeah? They are always comfortable and good on the ball and dictate the tempo of the game. I don't think Bruno is going to do that. Now, of course, this is me just predicting, because there's still a lot to go for the summer transfer window and the season hasn't even started, so I can't say for certain. But I actually don't even feel like Bruno and Casemiro, or Bruno Ugarte, Bruno Kobe, whatever, I think it should be a midfield 3. I genuinely think it should be a midfield 3, because Man United will get overrun in the midfield. We've seen it happen with Erik ten Hag, and he used to leave the midfield vacated. And Amorim is doing that in a way with his system as well, because the reason why I'm saying this is because of the width that your wing backs are expected to hold under Ruben Amorim. Yeah, Ruben Amorim expects his Ahmad and Dorgu to be the most wide players to a point where they're hugging the touchline. And he expects your wide centre backs to kind of step up into that line and create, I guess, a staggered 3 in the middle. They don't always necessarily do that. And as a result, I've seen games where Man United look like their midfield is being overrun. And you can't run a game. You can't beat an opponent if you are neglecting your midfield. You can't. And Amorim's midfield, in my opinion, relies a lot more on athleticism and maybe physicality, in terms of just, I don't want to say being a shin kicker, but just basically winning the ball back and then just offloading to your wide centre backs or to your wide players. He doesn't expect the midfielders to be able to be good at dictating the game. Do I agree with that? No. Is that what we might see from Manchester United? Maybe. Look at Real Madrid on the weekend, guys. People were talking about Xabi Alonso changing, yeah, and going back, reverting to 3-5. Xabi Alonso's team is more suited to play 3-5-2 right now with Real Madrid than it is at Manchester United. And that's the sad truth. Mbappe and Vini, and the reason why I'm saying that, yeah, the main reason why I'm saying that is because Trent, as a right wing back in Alonso's system, he's not expected to be the most wide player. Why? Because you've got Fede Valverde next to him, who can pick up the width if necessary. Trent is naturally going to drift inwards. You got Vini, who's maybe playing on the left side, who will naturally hold those half spaces between the wing back and the midfielder, which means their midfield ain't going to get overrun. I'm really looking forward to Real Madrid versus, I think they're playing City, right? In the Club World Cup. Big up to MYS, says big up Mina, like and subscribe and join people. Big up for the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. How many likes are we on, by the way, guys? I completely forgot. Bro, what? We got over 130 people here, guys. Over 140 people here. And we ain't even touched 100 likes. That's actually disgraceful, guys. I'm very disappointed with you guys all. It was Real Madrid versus Juve. Why did I think it was Real Madrid versus City? Guys, what is going on with the likes? You lot are actually, you lot are on a joke thing right now. Wallah, you lot are on a joke thing. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you've just come through, or if you've been here this entire time and you have not hit the like button. Don't be disgraceful. You lot know the rules. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and you hit the like button. We need 115, 100%. We need 115. Word to the charges. If you want to join the membership club as well, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel, the ever-growing channel here. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. Help us reach the super chat goal on the stream today. We have so much content, guys, coming over the next week. You don't want to miss it. Not even the next week, the next month, I would say, from July. So much content coming. We got a predictions video dropping for the Women's Euros later this week. We got a England guide to the Women's Euros. If you guys don't watch England women and you want to watch the Euros, don't worry. I'm dropping a guide for everything you need to know about the England Euros team. We got a watch along next Saturday for the England game as well. We will have watch alongs throughout the week. We'll have a watch along for Al Hilal versus Man City, which is at 2 in the morning. Who's going to watch that game? Just so that I know. Otherwise, there's no point in me doing a watch along. But we've got watch alongs dropping. We've got videos dropping as well. I'm posting on all platforms. You see my socials right there. You see it right there. Go and follow me. I'm posting on TikTok every day, guys. Who am I? I've posted some interesting stuff as shorts as well, so make sure you lot check that out. Mona says Ugarte should be a bench player if you want to compete for top 4. This is why we will need a midfielder, and I agree with you. We should play 3 midfielders. This is how Mbeumo will be starting. Big up to Pyramid Scheme, says the wing backs are basically left and right midfielders, and the mid centre back is supposed to step up as a CDM. Essentially, that's how it is. I don't really like it. Like, the more that I kind of look into it, and the more that I kind of research about it, the more and more I shy away from backing this style of football. Because the thing is, right, yeah, guys, you can start with a traditional 4-5-1, 4-4-2, but your shape in game will never be straight 4-4-2, right? Man City are a perfect example. They start on paper as a what? They got a back 4, 1 midfielder. They play 4-1-4-1, yeah? But in game, if you ever look at their shape, it's never actually a back 4. It's never actually a back 4. Sometimes it's a back 3, sometimes it's back 2. Sometimes everyone's pushed up so high because they're dominating the game that it's a back 2, and the midfield is over. Like, what you see on paper is not necessarily what you will always see in game. The problem that I see with United in game is that it's quite rigid. Like, what you see on paper is what you see on the pitch in terms of the formation. And for me, you have to have some flexibility in game. Sometimes, for example, there's no problem with shifting into a back 4 in a game. Sometimes if you're, especially when you're playing someone like Ahmad, for example, at right wing back, you can comfortably shift into a back 4 because then he can just shift into the right wing spot. Like, it's very what's the word? You can go from one to the other quite simple. The transition is quite simple. Of course, we're just going off of predictions right now. We're just going off of predictions in terms of how United will look next season. You know what? I think you don't like it only because you are biased. That can be an honest point. The 3-4-3 actually switches to a back 4 and 3-1-5 if you watch the matches carefully. And that is my point. There's been one game I can remember right now that I've seen United shift into a back 4 mid-game. It was a Europa League game. But I'm saying that you can do it more often. I don't think Amorim's system is as tight as people make it out to be. The 3-5-2. It's not even 3-5-2. What is it? 3-4-3. I don't like 3-4-3. I've already said my preference is 3-5-2. My preference is the 3-5-2, and I feel like a 3-5-2 is a lot more easier to switch around into others, into other ways, into like a 4-3-3, etc. in game, because of the players that you have on the field at the time. Now, the only thing I will say is that I've seen United playing with a back five a lot. So even though United on paper is saying it's a 3-4-3 or 3-5 whatever, in game I'm seeing a back five a lot. There's been so many games that I can give as examples, and I don't think I'm being biased. I'm just pointing out what I noticed. That's it. I'm just pointing out what I noticed. But let's talk about some other transfers, because I wouldn't actually be against this. Reportedly, Bayern are ready to accept any offers in the range of 30 million euros to 35 million euros for Joao Paulinho. Now, I liked Paulinho before he joined. I don't even know why Bayern actually brought him. Generally speaking, I don't think Company wanted him. I think because the deal fell through the window before he actually ended up going to Bayern, I think they just went back for him. I don't think he was ever a Vincent Kompany signing. And I also don't know why he actually left Fulham, because Fulham replaced him with Sanderberg, I think. They ended up replacing him with Sanderberg. And now Bayern are ready to offload him. Yeah, he got a league title out of it. I don't think he could be the worst that Manchester United could do, especially for that price tag, because I know that any midfielder that would be an upgrade on Man United's midfield, that their price will come at a premium. You know, my dream would have been for United to sign Amadou Onana, and he mentioned it on the Inside Scoop with Culture Cam. Shout out to Culture Cams. He mentioned it, saying how he kind of hinted at the idea that other clubs came for him, but by that time he had already given his word to Aston Villa, and he said, I'm a man of my word. I had to see it through, so I had to go to Aston Villa. A part of me thinks Man United could have signed him, and for that price tag, that 50 million price tag, that is where the price fee, I think that is the fee that you will tend to pay for a lot of good midfielders right now, especially like the profile type that I think Manchester United need. I do think that Man United need two types of midfielders. I think they need a deep line playmaker. There's someone that can dictate the tempo of the game, but I also think they need a box-to-box midfielder. That's why, if United, hypothetically speaking, had the money for Baleba, I wouldn't be against it. I do not imagine United actually signing him, because he's going to cost an arm and a leg. But I also mentioned this on a previous stream. I'm happy with United cutting out the middleman like Brighton and just going straight to the source. And if you want a midfielder, please, United, sign from the French league. If you want a box-to-box, if you want an engine in your midfield, please sign from the French league. That is where you will find not the gems, but you will find affordable, ready-made, physical, athletic, technical midfielders. That's where you will find them. That is where you will find them. Because Onana came from there, Babakor Kamara came from there, Baleba came from there. Y'all know already who I'm about to mention. Lamine Kamara is there right now. You can go, and French league player always adapts best to the Premier League. Yeah, because I think the Premier League and the French league is not that far in like the type of football that you play in those leagues, the physicality, the athleticism, the technical, all of that stuff. I think it's very easy to transition from the French league to the Premier League, and that's why I think people send players there on loan regularly as well. I think that's why also Arsenal sent like Saliba there on loan. They could have sent him to Spain, they could have sent him to Italy, but I think that was the best choice for him, and look at how he turned out to be. Lamine Kamara and Pogba, we will be there. We will absolutely be there. I will absolutely, if Lamine Kamara don't leave Monaco this summer, I will be there September. I'm gonna go watch a game in Monaco, 100%, and you guys are gonna fund me to go there. Pogba's never played in League One yet. I'm waiting for the announcement so I can get, guys, will you judge me if I get a Monaco shirt? Like, because I own a lot of Tiche football shirts, right? I own like retro ones. of like Real Madrid or Barcelona or AC Milan or all of that. But will you guys judge me if I get a Pogba shirt? Please don't. Please don't. Because I got a lot of Pogba shirts. I got Juve ones from his first stint at Juve and his second stint at Juve. So I have to get the Monaco one to complete the collection. I have to get the Monaco one to complete the collection. How's your leg, Mina? It is slowly recovering. Thank you for asking, Venetia. Thank you for asking. Slowly but surely recovering. This guy here, guys. Bro, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? He has gone from Fenerbahce are willing to pay him what he wants to Fenerbahce saying we're focused on John Duran. So reportedly, this is how it played out, guys. This is how the situation with Jadon Sancho has played out. Fenerbahce, with the approval from Jose Mourinho, held an official meeting with Jadon Sancho. They approached the player, inquired about his conditions. Fenerbahce did not make a written offer in any official capacity. After learning about Sancho's conditions, contact was made again, but there was no progress. Napoli also made an offer to the player with a salary that was around 50% of what the player wants, and Sancho rejected it. Juve then came to the table. Sancho wants to play for Juventus, but Juventus offered a very low salary. The only club that can currently meet the net salary is Fenerbahce, but Sancho favors a move to a team who play in one of the top 5 leagues. This was reported by a Turkish journalist yesterday, and then today Fabrizio Romano comes out to confirm that Fenerbahce are not in any active talks to sign Jadon Sancho. The main focus for now is John Duran. I tweeted earlier, I had to delete it because my mentions was a mess, guys. But I tweeted it saying, Jadon Sancho knows he's never going to get the money that he makes at United ever again. So he's just holding out to probably leave on a free next summer. And then I said, he is, in my opinion, the worst player, or his situation is the worst out of anyone United have signed post Sir Alex Ferguson. People were in my mentions mentioning Sanchez, mentioning Luke Shaw. I don't know why Harry Maguire gets boxed in to these players, guys. Honestly speaking, I actually don't know why Harry Maguire gets boxed into it. Because when you're talking about a professional aspect of the game, professionalism, I don't think Harry Maguire has ever done what any of these other people have done. You know, Alexis Sanchez, Di Maria, all of these guys that Maguire gets boxed into. I don't know why he gets boxed into that. You know, he might not have won us a Premier League title, but for me, the Jadon Sancho situation, the reason why I think it's so important, context is always important. Context is always important, yeah? Because Man United chased him for a whole 12 months. We were meant to sign him the summer before we actually signed him. They couldn't agree a fee. United then went back 12 months later, ended up paying Dortmund exactly what they wanted, yeah? So number one, you thought that they would budge on what they wanted. Then you ended up paying what they wished. You accepted it and paid it, no matter how expensive it might have been. And then from there, it was just downhill. I feel like that summer I remember when we signed Sancho and then we signed Varane and Ronaldo. Oh my days, guys. I thought we were winning the Premier League title. I thought we got Varane, we got Ronaldo, we got Sancho, we got Pogba, we got Bruno, we got Rashi. I thought, man, this might be the year that we win it. That summer, that's what I thought. That game, Ronaldo's debut return, I thought, oh my days, this is it. This is it. But if we were speaking specifically on Jadon Sancho, look at the number of years he spent at Manchester United and what he has to sign it, what he has to show for it. His first season, I think, was okay. Then Erik ten Hag comes in. And it's just been downhill from there. Erik ten Hag comes in. He misses about 5 months training in the Netherlands because of mental health problems, because of issues that we don't know about. We don't know what was happening, right? But Erik ten Hag and Man United supported him to kind of take him away from the spotlight. He comes back in February. Summer happens. Summer transfer comes. Pre-season comes. This is now going into his 3rd year at Manchester United. He's beefing the manager. We play Arsenal in September, was it? Him and Ten Hag have a public falling out. Nothing's the same again. Yeah? Nothing's the same again. January, he goes on loan to Dortmund, gets to the Champions League final, comes back to United. Now this is his 4th season. Now he's entering his 4th season at Manchester United. What happens? He spends the entire season on loan at Chelsea. He spends the entire season, at Chelsea. Now, I actually want to see, because I genuinely feel like the guy might have played more games for other clubs than he has for Manchester United. Now entering his 5th and final year, you cannot tell me it's not a failed transfer. When you take into consideration everything, take into consideration all of the context surrounding Jadon Sancho and Manchester United. It's failed on Man United's side and it's failed on his side. I genuinely think that if Jadon Sancho wanted to fix his career, he would have took that pay cut and stayed at Chelsea. But then I look at it on the flip side and I think, well, it's a contractual obligation. United never should have offered him that. United should have never, and Sancho has every right to hold out for his money because he's entitled to it. He might not have earned it. Not a lot of players at Man United have actually earned what they actually get paid. But he has every right to hold out for it because it's his contractual obligation that he is entitled to. Some people call him entitled, but he is entitled. He's entitled to the money that Manchester United said they will pay him. Man United effed up as much as Jadon Sancho, because Man United signed a flourishing young wonder kid, how old? 21 years old, and paid him, said, yeah, come, we'll give you 300,000. In what world would any club do that? It's like today, yeah. Chelsea signed Palmer, right? Chelsea signed Cole Palmer, right? Imagine when they had signed him. Actually, it's still applicable because he had a bit of first team experience with Man City. It's like them signing him and then saying, here, we're going to give you 300,000. Or any other young English player right now. It's like they signed Gittins and say, we're going to give you 300,000. No sane club would ever do that. And that is the shortcomings of the previous Manchester United structure. They have effed up. Like, yes, Jadon Sancho is holding out for his money right now because he probably knows he's never going to make this kind of money again in football unless he goes to Saudi, right? But Manchester United's structure at the time have put Man United into this problem. So you can have, I think, energy for Sancho, but we have to have the same energy for United. He also has an obligation to professionalism, to be a professional player. He hasn't any professionalism. Both the parties are in the wrong. Would Mina have done the same as Sancho? I'd hold out for my money. But it depends, like, how much do I love football? Like, if I love football like Anthony does, I might have taken a pay cut. I may have taken a pay cut. Everyone is mentioning other players as well. And I totally agree that other players are not. I don't think there's some players that are nearly anywhere as good as what Jadon Sancho could be or should be at Manchester United right now. And another example of how Man United effed up is Mason Mount. Mason Mount is a similar thing to Jadon Sancho in terms of the money aspect, the transfer fee, the wages, all of that is similar. The only difference is Jadon Sancho is fit enough to play and he's fell out with managers. Mason Mount can never be fit. And unfortunately for Jadon Sancho, Mason Mount is a media darling. The British media will not shit on Mason Mount the way that they shit on players like Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, etc., etc. But Mason Mount is an example that Manchester United have not learned from previous transfers. Because he's a player you're not going to be able to shift. No one's going to want to buy him. No one's going to want to take his wages. Nobody's going to want to take the risk. Until today, I do not understand why Manchester United signed Mason Mount. I do not understand. Did Eric Ten Hag, because I know people in the football world, like agents, etc., etc., people that work with players, and I know that Mason Mount was he was being courted by Manchester United for about a season before they actually signed him. So I don't genuinely think Mason Mount was Eric Ten Hag signing, because you don't go from wanting Frankie de Jong to getting Mason Mount in the space of 12 months. That's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. So Mason Mount, for me, media darling, English boy, meets the requirement, by the way, of born English bred, if you want to call it that. But it's homegrown talent. That's what it's called, homegrown talent. He meets a lot of criteria for Manchester United. His agent, aka his father, Man United fan, had a good relationship with certain people at Manchester United. Ten Hag and Richard Arnold look at him as a very marketable player. Exactly that. And they gave him the number 7 shirt. It was I was told that he was given the year 7 shirt. Basically, that was part of his courting phase. Like, they gave him, yeah, they knew that he'd get the number 7 shirt if he joined Manchester United. Was he the last pre-Ineos signing? Yeah, I think he was, you know. I think he was. I have never in my life, guys, gone to Old Trafford and seen someone wearing a Mason Mount shirt. Well, I'm not joking. In the 2 years that he's been at United, I have not seen one person wear a Mason Mount shirt. You guys know that I'm banned from buying shirts that say names on the back. Like, you lot know that. You lot have already banned me from buying shirts, because right now, if I go to my cupboard where all my football shirts are, I will come out with 5 shirts that say Sancho on the back. Anybody that I have ever brought on the back of my shirt just flop at United, or it turns out toxic. Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Pogba. I have about 15 Man United shirts that say Ronaldo, Pogba, Sancho, all these guys on it, and I just laugh. Do you have Rashford? I got a Rashford 39 shirt. I got a Rashford 39 shirt. Why would you buy 5 Sancho shirts? It was basically the first 2 years that he was at United. And I think it was like different. So at the home, away, and alternative kit, I will get it every season. And that season, I think I got 2 of them saying Sancho on the back. Don't blame me, guys. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. Put Rashford in the trash bin, sis. 5 Sancho shirts is mental. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm waiting till my family are like sending stuff back home, and I'm just gonna give my mom like a bulk of Sancho shirts and be like, "Here you go, send it to relatives back home in some random village in East Africa. Let them just wear it. They're gonna think this is drip. It's not drip. I just want to get rid of it. 50 Kev coins. No, it's not 50 Kev coins. It's not 50 Kev coins. I was just gassed. Yeah. I was just gassed. I got even like who else do I have? I got Rashford. I got an old Rashford shirt. I got, to be honest, back in the day, guys, like I'm talking like between like 2013 to like 2017, a lot of the shirts that I used to get, I used to write my name on it. So I would get a number of a player that I like. So I have a lot of shirts that say number 6 on it because of Pogba. I had number 7 the year that we signed Di Maria. I got my name on the back, number 7 on it. Do you have a Hoyland shirt now? I don't have any shirts in recent years. I don't have a name of a player. I wanted to get a Kobe one. I wanted to get an Ahmad one, but you lot told me not to get it. So when I do get the shirts, I just get it plain. I don't get anything on the back. Have you got Pogba Ronaldo shirts? I got about 20 Pogba shirts. Not 20. 20, I'm exaggerating. Probably like 10 Pogba shirts. And I got about 5 Ronaldo shirts, and then I got a couple of his Real Madrid shirts as well from like 2011 or something like that. But anyways, guys, enough about shirts. Whilst we're on the topic of Dortmund, Manchester United are interested in Felix Nmecha. Now, I know for a fact that Man City will definitely have a sell-on clause for him. Surely they'll have a sell-on clause. Or did he go? Oh, so he went from City to Wolfsburg and then to Dortmund. Now, this is a player that United are linked to. Probably like the first. This is probably the first few midfielders that I've seen us linked to. His injury record is poor. Let's have a look at his injury record. Let's have a look at his injury record. Where do I find injury record? Here. Let's have a look at his injury history. Come on. Woo! Oh my god. Yeah. 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 Nah. That's enough for me, guys. This is enough for me. He's missed 20 plus games in multiple seasons. So here you go. Here's the list of all the games that he's missed. I don't think Mazraoui's injury record was that bad though, the way that people made it out to be before he joined. I don't think his injury record was that bad. 20 games before he left City. 1 game, 3 games, 20. So back to back, he's missed back to back double-digit games since joining the German league. And it's always random. It's always different type of injuries: ligament injury, hip problem, muscular problems. Man United's fitness team might drive this guy into the ground if that's the case, if he's got different types of injuries. Do you guys think we will actually sign a midfielder this summer? Because a part of me I actually don't think we might sign a midfielder. I actually do not think we will sign a midfielder. It's not me being negative. It's just me trying to be as realistic as possible. Because a lot of it is riding on the fact that Man United have to sell. What's the likelihood of Man United selling effectively without Manchester United having to end up panic buying someone? That is my biggest problem, guys. That is my biggest problem with this transfer window, is the fact that after they reportedly signed Brian Mbeumo, everything else is a sell to buy situation, right? It's a sell to buy situation. And we are entering July. It don't look like Garnacho is going anywhere. It don't look like Rashford's going anywhere. It don't look like Hoyland's going anywhere. It don't look like Anthony might be going. It don't look like a lot of these players are going anywhere anytime soon. So the longer it plays out, the more likely it turns into a situation that United end up panic buying a midfielder later into the transfer window. My ideal situation would have been Manchester United have a midfielder. They sign 3 forwards by the time the season starts. And the season starts, it's not that far away. It's like a month and a bit away. I don't think that's going to be ever so likely. And I also don't think the midfielder is a priority. We can get a free agent or relegated player. I've seen links to Ndidi, though. I don't fancy him. I think Ndidi is low risk, low reward. £7 million price tag. That is low risk, low reward for them. That's it. That's the only way that I see it. Now, another name that's popped up, and we spoke about him briefly the other day, was Zaire Emery. I don't see United ever buying this guy. I don't see United ever buying him, ever. Because if they got 85 million to spend, which is apparently his price tag that PSG have put on him, if Man United got 85 million to spend, just go buy Baleba from Brighton. Just go and buy Baleba. All due respect, PSG, you guys are good peeps. You know, shout out to Nasser Al Khalifi and them man there, but we're not buying another midfielder off you lot unless you're giving us Vitinha or Joao Neves or Fabian Ruiz, and that's never going to happen. So you can keep Zaire Emery. I can see him at Chelsea. You know what, Zaire Emery has Chelsea written all over him, not because of the type of player he is. Young player, can be a superstar maybe. That ticks basically all the boxes that Chelsea have for their players. Sign him to a lifelong contract, and he's good to go. I don't think he should leave PSG personally. I don't think he should leave there. But also maybe they're looking to sell him because they've got their kind of midfield free set in stone. But a lot of this talk about United being linked to all these midfielders that we're linked to right now, like the names that are popping up, you know, Felix, Nmecha, Zaire Emery. These are, you know, Paulinho, Ndidi. Are you flipping kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? Big up to Abuki. Big up says Sancho swap deal with Juve for Douglas Luiz, inshallah. I can't believe, guys. Yeah, there's people you lot out there want Douglas Luiz. You lot actually want Douglas Luiz. Is that because of the player that you think he is? Like based on his time in the Premier League? It can't be based on what he is right now. You know what? It wouldn't actually a swap deal. Wouldn't actually be the worst thing, because United are probably not getting money for him out. What does Douglas Luiz earn? But the thing is, Douglas Luiz comes with his girlfriend, so I don't want her, Man United women. Douglas Luiz at Juve. He earns 160 euros per week. That's like 140. That's never happening. Did they split up? Even better, bring him. As long as he doesn't, I wouldn't mind Douglas Luiz for a straight swap, yeah, if he doesn't come with his girlfriend, because I can't stand her. I can't stand her. I'd take a Prem proven on loan. I don't think that's likely to happen. Richard Rios is the answer for Man United. I would take Kamara over Richard Rios personally. I'd take Kamara over Richard Rios, but I like Richard Rios. I like what I've seen from him at the Club World Cup so far. She can kick rocks. She's not even a baller. Yeah, no, honestly, I don't. Again, that is the crazy, guys. I think we don't talk about it enough. The fact that they both played for Villa together, and then he joined Juve, and he said to Juve, part of the deal has to be that you sign my missus, and they said okay. He's not even like Messi or Ronaldo to me making those demands. He's not even like Messi or Ronaldo, and they did it. And you know what's crazy? I saw her at Baller League more times than I probably saw her play for Juve in that period. I'm not joking, guys. How could you be at Baller League every Monday and you're playing in Turin? It just didn't make sense. But he's a decent player. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to a bookie who actually said it in the super chat. He's a decent player. I wouldn't be too fussed. Mina, why are women so jealous of each other? I'm not jealous of her. I'm just saying I don't want her at Manchester United because she's not a good footballer. I watch Man United women, so I know what Man United women need. Trust me, they do not need Alicia Lehmann. He's just not the profile United should be looking at. He's not a great tackler, not a controller. He's at best a ball carrier, not even a ball progressor. United need a 6 who can defend and control. United need a lot of stuff, guys. Let's be real. Right now, we need so much. We need so much. And the worst thing is, I don't even know what's going to happen throughout the rest of the next couple of weeks. I don't know what's going to happen. I just need today, tomorrow. Can we just get a here we go for this guy here? Can we just get a here we go? Everything, deals agreed, all of that stuff. Just today, tomorrow. It can help us see the week out. It can help us, see the rest of the month out. There'll be a bit more optimism in the fan base. That's it. That's the only thing I want from the next couple of days. So, Barada, Wilcox, all of you guys, I hope you're not on holiday. You better not be having some annual leave with your family. You better get to work. Sign on the dotted line and just get the transfer done. Just get the transfer done. How you go from bald to having hair? You don't know Photoshop. This is a Photoshop's picture. This is an old picture of him, though, I think. They gave him a proper... Whoever Photoshopped this picture, or lie, and they put the kit on him, yeah, is jokes, because did they Photoshop hair on him? Did they actually Photoshop hair on him and a proper and a hairline and a trim? Is it true he told Spurs that he prefers United? Yes, it is true. David Ornstein confirmed it yesterday that he had interest from Arsenal, United, Newcastle and Spurs, and he informed Brentford and Spurs of his decision that he will be signing for Manchester United. Why I don't know why they photoshopped a trim onto him, guys. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Did we hit 100 likes, guys? Yes, we did, and we surpassed it. We got over 175 people here. Let's at least try get 150 likes as we wrap the stream up. We have so much content, like I said, dropping over the next couple of weeks. Video dropping, Women's Euros prediction. For the people that don't know, the Women's Euros are starting. England will be defending their title. I have a very bad feeling about this competition for England. Very, very bad feeling. So a video will be dropping for that. A video will drop in a guide to England women for the Euros, for the people that maybe don't watch football that much or don't keep up with the Euros or women's football with England national team. I will drop a video if you just want to follow England throughout the competition. I'll drop a video for a guide about the players and all of that kind of stuff. We will have a watch along next week Saturday as well at 5 o'clock for England, their first group stage game, which is going to be against France. They are actually in the group of death. They're in one of the worst groups. They got Netherlands, they got France, and I think the other team is Wales. So it's going to be a tough group for them. We'll do some watch-alongs as well throughout the competition. Have some Club World Cup watch-alongs coming throughout the week as well. And of course, the daily dose of Minute every single day, talking about transfers, where we're talking about pretty much the same thing every single day, guys. This is why I rate every content creator, because it's not easy to sit there and talk about the same thing every single day. And yet we do it. So we've got a lot of content coming. If there is any specific, I got a video dropping as well tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And if there's any specific games you want me to do a watch along for the Club World Cup, let me know, guys. Let me know if there's any specific game, because I'm thinking of doing Real Madrid, Man City versus Al Hilal. I'm thinking of doing Real Madrid's watch along. And another team. I'm thinking of doing 3 watch-alongs. But the thing is, Al Hilal versus Manchester City is at 2 a.m. UK time. So I'm probably gonna do it anyways. Just make myself a flask of tea and the vibes. We'll have the vibes here. But yeah, keep an eye out for all of that. So make sure you guys hit the like button. Yes, Chelsea versus Benfica tonight. England under 21 final tonight as well. There's a lot of football on tonight. A lot of football. So you can definitely find yourself something to watch today. Easy, without a doubt. But listen, guys, I'm out. Big up to everyone that stayed throughout the stream. Make sure you guys hit the like button. We're 15 off of 150, 14 off of 150 now. Big up to everyone that sent in super chats, everyone that got involved in the chat as well. If you're a new subscriber here, welcome to the channel. If there is any news between now and tomorrow, we get the Here We Go for Brian and Mbeumo. You lot know I will be live. If not, I'll catch you lot all on tomorrow's stream. Hope you have a wonderful Saturday. I'm out, guys. Peace.